Yo, what's happening, Raider Nation? It's your boy Soto here. You know what it is. Raiders versus the world. Talking about the team that the world loves to hate, your Las Vegas Raiders. All right. So the last couple of videos, there's a lot of rumors, okay? A lot of, talk and a lot of this and a lot of that. And I don't normally like doing that. Trust me, I really don't, okay? There's a lot of rumors floating around that I don't even acknowledge. I talked about the Trey Hendrickson thing because it was a big thing. It was talked about in a lot of places. Jabril Peppers is an actual free agent. So I'm like, you know what? There's some talk about his fit with the Raiders. Let me go and talk about that. And there's a lot of buzz, not specifically about Trevon Diggs going to the Raiders, but Trevon Diggs getting traded in general. And so how little people are talking about him getting traded for like a 6th-round pick, and just the fit of what we need in the secondary. Maybe it's just me wishful thinking. And I just wanted to say, you know what? Forget all that. I want to make a video about people saying things out of their own mouths, from the horse's mouth itself. So what we're going to do is take a little bit of a look into what Howie Long thinks the goals are for this Raiders team, and what minority owner Tom Brady thinks about the Raiders this year and moving forward. We're going to get to all that. But before we do, I want to make sure everyone please like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's an excellent way to support the channel. It's absolutely free, and it's the bare minimum you can do to support the channel besides doing nothing watching the video. Also, there's the Shield Society. Shield Society, really quick and really easy, right? You guys already know what it is. You guys are going to like it. Just go ahead and do it, all right? $5 a month. What you do is you get the videos right away, but the big thing is you get the watch parties with me. What's different about my watch parties? I'm going to allow you to be on the watch party with me. It's private. Nobody gets to see it. It's just us. We can complain. We can cheer. We can say whatever we want. Just try to keep it to a minimum, okay? I don't want to hear your 10-minute dissertation on why the Raiders are the greatest team ever, because they are. Or I don't want to hear your solid 15 stand-up comedy, okay? Get in there, ask your question, we'll answer it, boom, keep it moving, all right? Okay, that's the Shield Society. Again, it's $5 a month. If you can do it, great. If not, that's great too. I'll still give you the content. All right, let's get to this, okay? Howie Long was interviewed, and he was talking a little bit about, what he thought of the Raiders and their chances of making the playoffs, and what is a realistic goal for the Raiders this season. Let's take a peek at one of the all-time Raider greats, Howie Long.
Quote, sleeping on the Raiders and has them finishing last in the AFC West, while Nick thinks the upgrades to coach, quarterback, and running back will vault them into the playoffs. Do you share Nick's excitement for the Raiders, or oddly, bruised pessimism that would be weird?
I said it's like a trick SAT question. Of course, I think 3 teams are going to come out of that division, and Drew, do you agree with that?
I do agree with that. Just
Okay.
not the Raiders being one of them. Assuming
that you're going to say the Chargers will not be in.
No, I got the Chargers, the Broncos, and of course the Chiefs in.
I'm sorry, Nick. You will say
no. I think the Chargers and the Broncos miss personally. I understand that everyone's getting Bo Nix bust ready for the Hall of Fame, Howie, but because he beat a lot of backup quarterbacks. But I'm not quite the believer. And listen, I don't. Here's my logic, and tell me if you agree. I don't necessarily think the Raiders, on a neutral field, if they played the Chargers 10 times, would win 6 of them. But I think because of the schedule difference, because of different factors, they could have the better season. And I think that your team was at such a deficit at coach and quarterback last year that the defense is going to get better just by the morale boost of having a professional quarterback, a great coach, and that's going to make a defense that's a little undermanned play maybe better than we saw last season. That's my logic.
Well, I do know this from the minute Pete walked in the building, and you guys have been covering sports for a long time, and Pete, and we certainly covered him a lot in Seattle, and love those teams up there, and the one thing that they all had in common was, and it fits the bill now with you pick the running back Genty, and you bring in Mostert, and the offensive line, 2 tight ends. You're going to see a lot of 12 personnel. They're going to run the football. He's openly talked about the team is going to be, if nothing else, a tough physical football team. And I think if you look at the division games, and I know Nick, you've looked at it closely because they see Kansas City twice a year. And Denver twice a year, and obviously the Chargers. And a lot of those games are coin flips. And if, like you said, you talk about a culture, you talk about, accountability, you talk about system, you talk about situational football, all of those things, they're going to be significantly better, from your lips to God's ears, Nick, if they're in the playoffs. And listen, I'm a Raider. I was fortunate enough to be drafted there. Couldn't imagine playing anywhere else, and love the team. And I hope your optimism is. Sometimes, I watch your show a lot, and your mountains, and tears, and some. I laugh, and it's a lot of fun. And you on with it. So I'm glad to hear the Raiders are what you have, a tier or a mountain.
Yeah.
Way up the hill.
Why did he keep interrupting him with all this nonsense? Just let the man talk. Jeez. Anyway, Howie Long said it at the very end, and it was something that I think we've all been kind of hinting at, but I've been saying it very directly, okay? He said the time management, the game management, all these games are really tight in the NFL. It's like, okay, yeah, you get a better person to handle the game for you and handle the clock and handle game management. You're going to win a lot of games that you may have lost. Look, this is something that I've talked about, ad nauseum. And if you've heard it, just bear with me one more time, okay? We had the worst head coach, arguably, in the NFL last season, okay? We had one of the worst quarterback rooms, or the worst rushing attack, okay? There's three things there. And probably one of the worst, if not the worst, offensive coordinator, Luke Getsy, last season. Okay. Those are four really big things, all right? Four really big things. I'm not even talking about all the injuries to our defense, okay? Let's just talk about the offense for now and the head coach. Those are really big things, okay? Head coach, quarterback, offensive coordinator, and running attack, okay? We were the absolute worst at those. I think we significantly improved in all those areas, okay? So we have the head coach in Pete Carroll. We have the offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly, Geno Smith, quarterback, Ashton Jeanty, and whoever you want to say backups as the running game, okay? These are things that are massive upgrades from last season, okay? With all that we had going on wrong, with all the things that we had going against us, now I'm going to talk about with the injury. So pile all those things onto our backs, all those things that were going wrong last season. We had 8 games that were within one score heading into the fourth quarter. With all those things going against us, 8 games, 8 of our 13 losses, okay, were one score heading into the fourth quarter. So it was anybody's game going into the fourth quarter. All right. Look, I'm not saying we're going to win all of them. Okay. But I know that we're not going to beat ourselves when the time comes. Okay. We're going to have better coaching decisions. We're going to have a better running game to be able to control the clock, better decisions by the quarterback, and we're going to have a better offensive scheme from Chip Kelly. Also, hopefully, we're not as injured as we were last season, and a lot of these guys are playing, and we have some more continuity back there. These NFL games are so tight. That's why there's always a half turnover every single year of who makes the playoffs. It's always half and half. You never know what's going to happen with these players because of injury, because of coaching, because of record. Some teams played a really poor schedule last season. Now they're going to play a really difficult one. Who knows what's going to happen? Okay, nobody has a crystal ball, knows exactly what's going to go on. But if you look at the numbers and you look where the Raiders are coming from, it's not as bad a situation as a lot of people are making it out to be. Yes, we had a full overhaul of our secondary, okay? But guess what? We needed to. We had the worst secondary in the NFL graded out, and that was the worst grade any secondary has gotten since like 2021, okay? So yeah, if everyone's gone from the secondary, guess what? It's a good thing because they weren't good, all right? Now, the linebackers were paid way too much money to go somewhere else, and that's fine. I think we have better linebackers coming in. If we keep the line healthy and we're able to put pressure on the quarterback, I think we're going to be much better defensively. Now, Patrick Graham's got to step up. His defense has got to make it happen. No excuses anymore because Pete Carroll's looking over his shoulder as a defensive coach. He's not going to play too kindly with somebody who's giving him a bad defense, okay? But these are all big upgrades, and I think that Howie Long kind of hinted at it a little bit about the game management and all that stuff, about the big improvements that the Raiders have made over last season. Everyone wants to look at everyone that left, everything that went wrong, but they don't really talk about the things that they've improved and how big of an improvement those things are. Okay, now we're going to listen to Tom Brady talk about the team. Now, he does say them, okay, but he's being asked as an analyst, not as an owner. So it's very important. A lot of people were banging on Tom Brady when he was talking about the Raiders by saying them and not we or us. but it's because he's talking about it, kind of protecting his job. Look, he has $365 million to protect. Okay, I would do the same thing. So cut him a little slack. Okay, let's listen to what Tom Brady has to say about the Raiders.
Tell me about this year's version of the Raiders. This is getting a little bit interesting now. Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers. There's a few headlines here with this team now.
Yeah, well, there's definitely some good players, and I think they've proven, through the offseason, there's a big commitment that those players have made, and I think Pete's really done a tremendous job, like a lot of coaches with veteran experience are able to do. They run a real program. Nothing really surprises them. I mean, Pete has had a tremendous record of success when he was at Seattle, obviously when he was at USC. He's a tremendous coach and leader. And look, they're in a division where you've got Andy Reid, who's very much the same. Jim Harbaugh's done an incredible job. Sean Payton, we all know the kind of coach he is. So I think the Raiders having a figurehead like that at that position gives them a great chance to compete. So it's going to be an exciting division. I think it's, one of the top two divisions in football right now. And I think with the Micah Parsons trade, that was, the NFC North kind of just catapults itself back up into that conversation as well.
Again, you're talking about at the top, Pete Carroll. If you want to know who knows about what wins in football, Tom Brady knows what wins in football. He got a stamp all over Geno Smith. He thinks it's going to be the right guy for the team. He knows that Pete Carroll is the right guy to lead the team. He's not going to get fooled. He's not going to get surprised. He's not going to be overwhelmed. He's not going to make rash decisions. He's not going to, get fumble the headset when the time comes to make a big call. This is something that I think a lot of people are kind of downplaying, is the importance of having an experienced head coach, and not just an experienced head coach, but a good experienced head coach. Pete Carroll has won as many games as he has because he knows what he's doing. I think a lot of people are making a lot of assumptions about what's going to happen this year. Oh, it's a punt year. Look what they're doing. They have this much cap space and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Well, he's also not wasting cap space on anything that can happen that can hinder him throughout the rest of the season. He's leaving enough cap space for things to happen throughout the season. Like, look, we saw Jabril Peppers get waived. There's other guys that are going to be out there available for trade. So they have some flexibility in their cap moving forward in case something's happening. You always want to have a little bit in your back pocket, okay? Also, there's a lot of being said about, oh, they got Amari Cooper. That's going to hinder the young receivers and this and that. Look, if anyone out there doubts Pete Carroll on how to deal with young players, they are mistaken. I don't want to say they're fools, but they're not paying attention, okay? Because Pete Carroll has known to play rookies a lot and to play freshmen a lot when he was in college. He's not afraid to do that, but he has a specific way of doing it. He's not just going to throw a young player, a rookie or a freshman. He's not going to throw him out there just to do everything and to fail at a lot of things and succeed at a lot more. He's going to put them in positions to succeed more often than not, because he's going to ask them to do only certain things that they do well. On top of that, he's going to keep feeding them and feeding them and feeding them until towards the middle to the end of the year, they're doing a lot more than they did in the beginning of the year. Trust me, guys, Pete Carroll knows what he's doing with young players. Having Amari Cooper on this team is not a bad thing, okay? He's a guy that can spell Dante Thornton a little bit at the X position. They can learn from each other. And I just think it's really short-sighted to say that Amari Cooper is going to hinder the young receivers on this team. It's just not going to happen, because these receivers weren't going to be out there a lot anyway in the beginning, because there's a lot of things they need to really brush up on before they're out there full time. But knowing Pete Carroll and how he coaches these young guys, look for the middle to the end of the year, these guys being heavy contributors all throughout this lineup. All right, guys, that's my time for today. Really appreciate you guys watching. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's an excellent way to support the channel. It's absolutely free to do, and it's the bare minimum you can do to support the channel besides doing absolutely nothing, just watch the video. Guys, you know what? You heard it. Go ahead and take advantage of it. It's the Shield Society. It's $5 a month. Really cheap, really easy, really fun. You get the videos right away. Great, that's fine. But you also get the watch party. That's a cool thing, man. If you've never done the watch party, ask people on the comments who have. It's a cool thing. You guys are really going to like it. You guys watch the game with me, get my analysis, get my play-by-play, get my thoughts on it, and also have the chance to jump on the show yourself. That's a great deal, guys. So I appreciate it if you could. If you can't, that's fine. Don't worry about it. You still get the free content every single day. But I want you guys to do something for me. Tell your friends, tell your haters, tell your mamas, tell everybody. Raiders versus the world is the greatest thing going on Raider Nation today. All right, guys, that's my time. Till next time, everybody. Peace. Hey, Raider Nation, thanks for watching. There's plenty more where that came from. Go ahead and smash that like button, drop a comment, make sure to subscribe and share to all your socials. It's the bare minimum you can do without doing absolutely nothing.